Let's start with the one thing EV fans always demand: acceleration. It has to be like a Tesla, they say. But before you imagine yourself flooring it and launching like a Model Y, remember, we're still in Toyota land. Smooth, sane Toyota land. The all-wheel drive version of the Urban Cruiser EV hits 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 7.4 seconds. Sounds decent, right? If you were born in the 80s and used to ride a 125cc scooter, this will feel surprisingly quick. But make no mistake, this is not a car for people who must beat the car next to them. You'll win if that other car happens to be reversing. Maximum output sits around 184 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque. Dual motors split between front and rear keep acceleration balanced. No weird nose lifting like cheap front-wheel drive EVs. It glides forward silently, without grunts, groans, or weird whining noises. Even when you accidentally hit 90 in a residential zone, still quiet. The front-wheel drive variant comes with a smaller motor, between 142 to 172 HP, depending on the battery, but still manages a 0 to 100 sprint in around 8.5 to 9 seconds. Is that fast? Sure, fast enough to overtake a sleepy hatchback. But if you're looking to win a highway lane war like you're storming a buffet, this is probably a car you should let someone else drive. Oh, and this isn't a rumor anymore. The Urban Cruiser EV just made its official Southeast Asian debut at the 2024 Indonesia International Motor Show. Toyota rolled out the concept in full glory, teasing that this is their global EV SUV, designed for emerging markets. And which markets are buzzing right now with Toyota fans? You're looking at places like India, Indonesia, and South Africa. While Toyota hasn't confirmed exact launch countries, the formula is obvious. Urban-friendly size, affordable pricing, expected to undercut many rivals in compact EVs, long-life LFP battery, Japanese reliability as a backbone. This thing is waving its flag, ready to march into markets where EVs are heating up. Remember when the Etios first launched in India? Everyone called it the bald shark at first, and then it filled every street. The Urban Cruiser EV may walk the same path, a little internet teasing up front, mass adoption later. And if you're wondering, so is the acceleration good enough? CarCree has your answer. Good if you live in the city, not good if you live life one drag race at a time. Good for your wallet, not good if you just sold your 300cc bike and expect fireworks. So no, it won't beat the food delivery guy. But if your goal is to climb a parking garage ramp without rolling back, or hearing your partner yell, "What the heck was that?" the Urban Cruiser EV is more than enough. The first time I saw the Urban Cruiser EV, I felt like I was playing Guess the Brand by the silhouette. Look at the front, Toyota. From the side, Suzuki. Look again, yep, it's a Suzuki with a Toyota badge slapped on. Like wearing a Uniqlo shirt with a glowing Hermes logo. This car is actually built on Suzuki's EVX platform, a fully electric concept Suzuki revealed before Toyota. Both brands co-developed it, but Toyota came in late, rebadged it as the Urban Cruiser, and gave it that urban adventure kind of name. Sounds like a guy in hiking boots and a business suit, doesn't it? In terms of size, it lands in the B-segment SUV category, around 4.3 meters long, nearly 1.8 meters wide, and a wheelbase of about 2.7 meters. Tall enough to climb sidewalks without scratching the underbody, but not tall enough to flex with the pickup crowd. Design-wise, it's thoroughly modern, full LED lighting front and back, connected tail lamps that feel like a peace treaty between two Japanese giants. The top variant even gets 19-inch wheels, which look tough from afar, though they do make the rear look a bit heavy. But don't worry, that's just visual weight. Its aerodynamic drag is still optimized for urban EV use. Up front, there's a sealed-off grille because, hey, it's electric. No need for air intake. And yes, the glowing Toyota badge may show up on high-spec trims. But seriously, if I hadn't told you, would you have guessed this was a Toyota? Or would you think it's the Vitara Facelift 2049? Don't worry, mistaking it is as natural as scrolling YouTube and running into an ad for hair growth serum. But jokes aside, if you don't care much about specs and just want something that looks clean, the Urban Cruiser EV does a great job. It's modern, it's neat, and it has just enough SUV energy to let you hop out and say, just dropping the kids off. Yet small enough that you won't need a 5-point turn just to get into your parking spot. So,
If you're into a tidy, well-designed exterior with just the right amount of attitude, this is like that artsy design major. Undercut hair, crossbody bag, oversized shirt, borrows the car, but somehow still looks cool doing.
Step inside the Urban Cruiser EV, and it feels like walking into one of those minimalist cafes. Clean, bright, organized, until 10 seconds later when you're asking, where the heck is the fan speed control? Toyota calls it minimalist design. I call it hide-and-seek menus that'll test your soul. You get two big screens, a 10.1-inch infotainment display and a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. Sounds premium, right? Until you tap them, then realize the touchscreen has the reaction time of texting your crush and waiting 3 days for a reply. Want to adjust the AC? Menu. Switch camera views? Menu. Turn on seat heating? Menu. Precondition the battery? Menu, scroll down, hit OK. That OK also takes half a second to register, just long enough for you to wonder if you even pressed it. The cabin uses a blue-gray color palette, clean, modern, anti-stain, but it's so low-key that if your eyesight's not perfect, you might end up turning on the seat heater instead of adjusting the fan in the middle of summer. Front seats are power adjustable on most trims, with ventilation on top spec. The cushions are comfy, good thigh support, great lumbar. Perfect for long-distance commuters. But the surprise is in the rear seats. They slide up to 16 centimeters, so you can choose more legroom or more trunk space. Slide all the way back, only 310 liters of cargo. Slide forward up to 380 liters. Enough for a medium suitcase and a couple pizza boxes. Not enough for a family karaoke setup. Big win, the materials. Toyota uses eco-friendly elements, including recycled plastics and vegan leather. It feels soft but not sticky, kind of like a budget Lexus touchpoint. Still, even with all this minimalism, Carcrete can't help but throw some shade. No head-up display. No physical gear lever, just a rotary dial like a kitchen stove knob. No ambient lighting. At night, the cabin looks like a whale documentary in black and white. So who is this cabin for? It's for those who love a clean, modern, low-maintenance interior. It's not for folks who lose patience when a button doesn't respond faster than their Wi-Fi. Bottom line, if you're the type who accidentally shuts off the AC during a heat wave, then the Urban Cruiser EV is your yoga instructor in disguise, training you in patience.
This is the part where EV fans suddenly sit up, stretch their necks, and whisper to the person next to them, "Hey, that's LFP. LFP, bro." Not because it's a new sneaker brand, but because LFP, or lithium iron phosphate, is Toyota's latest electric darling. Trusted like a grandmother trusts her daughter-in-law who makes chai the old-fashioned way. So what's good about LFP? First, durability. Toyota claims this battery retains over 70% of its capacity even after 10 years or 1 million kilometers. That's like driving from Mumbai to Delhi and back, 500 times. At some point, the car won't break down, you will. Second, safety. LFP is far less prone to catching fire than NCM batteries. And yes, when you're driving a giant lithium pack under your seat, fire safety matters more than wireless Apple CarPlay. Third, cost efficiency. LFP doesn't require rare minerals like cobalt, making it cheaper to produce. It's perfect for emerging markets like India, South Africa, or Indonesia, where many people still debate between a new EV and a used diesel SUV with tinted windows. But hold your electrons, charging speed is the downside. Urban Cruiser EV only supports DC fast charging up to about 63 to 67 kilowatt. That means 10 to 80% takes roughly 45 to 50 minutes. If you're used to 100 to 150 kilowatt EVs, this will feel like going back to charging a Nokia overnight. But if you grab a coffee, scroll Instagram and let the universe do its thing, you're golden. One more thing. Toyota hasn't officially disclosed battery size, but trusted sources say there'll be two versions. Base around 49 kilowatt hours, high spec around 61 kilowatt hours. Estimated range between 340 to 420 kilometers WLTP-ish, or more realistically 300 to 360 kilometers if you've got AC blasting, heated seats on, and you're carrying 2 crates of mangoes from grandma's farm. Here's what CarCry wants to highlight. LFP batteries may not be sexy like high-speed NCM packs, but they are smart, durable, and practical, perfect for drivers who say, I don't need speed. I just don't want the car to die in the middle of nowhere. And if you remember that 0.5 second screen lag from earlier, great, because you will have...
In the EV world, choosing between front-wheel drive, FWD, and all-wheel drive, AWD, is like choosing between chess and checkers. Same goal, completely different play styles. And the Urban Cruiser EV, it gives you both options, depending on whether your daily path is commute and chill or climb and conquer. The FWD variant, with a single front-mounted motor, offers 142 to 172 horsepower and torque ranging from 189 to 265 newton meters depending on spec. This is the one Toyota expects to sell the most of. It's cheaper, more energy efficient, and absolutely sufficient for city driving. What's it like to drive? Think of riding a manual scooter in second gear. Not too fast, not too aggressive, and definitely not making your neighbors think you're dragging a trailer uphill. Then there's the all-wheel drive version. Dual motors, front and rear, made for folks who like maximum control and trust nobody but themselves to get out of muddy parking lots. With 184 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque, it sprints from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 7.4 seconds. A full second quicker than the FWD, enough to make you go, not bad. But here's the clever part. The AWD system isn't always fully active. It defaults to front-wheel drive for efficiency, only engaging the rear motor when extra traction is needed, like during slippery climbs or sudden acceleration. It's like that one reliable friend who only shows up when things go south, but always shows up. When both motors engage, power delivery feels seamless. No jerks, no pulling, just you and the car gliding together down into the dim basement level of a parking garage. Now for a gentle nitpick from Car Cry. The Urban Cruiser EV doesn't offer customizable regenerative braking levels. It's there, but fixed. Toyota's going for easy-to-adapt driving, which is nice for most, but EV enthusiasts might miss the thrill of true one-pedal driving. That sensation where you brake just by lifting your foot? Yeah, that's the stuff. On a brighter note, suspension tuning has been improved, especially in the all-wheel drive version. At high speeds or in tight turns, the car holds steady with minimal body roll. It feels planted. The steering, however, remains classic Toyota. Smooth and friendly, not razor sharp, more chill, less thrill. To summarize, if you mostly drive in cities, avoid hills, and want a hassle-free ride, FWD is your bestie. If you're the Alps today, beach tomorrow type, all-wheel drive is worth the splurge. And if you're planning to road trip while throwing an old air conditioner to scrap, buddy, just get a diesel pickup. The Toyota Urban Cruiser EV isn't built for boomers obsessed with oversized buttons. But when it comes to advanced driver assistance systems, aka ADAS, it's clearly aiming for just enough. Not too little, not too much, and definitely not in a rush. It comes with the basics: lane departure alert and lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, 360-degree camera, automatic emergency braking, tire pressure monitoring, and a gentle auto park system for shaky hands. Sounds decent, right? Well, here's the catch. All of it lives deep inside the settings menu. You'll have to tap 4 times, swipe twice, and wait a second just to activate a feature that should have had its own shortcut on the steering wheel. Imagine this. You're driving, light drizzle begins, you want to turn on lane assist. You tap the screen, nothing. Tap again, loading. Third time, your passenger says, "Want me to do it instead?" Yeah, it's not just ADAS, it's a couple therapy tool. The infotainment OS? Think developed by people who once made Snake on old Nokias. Laggy, clunky, and anything but intuitive. Want to mute lane alert beeps? Go to menu. Want to view the rear cam without reversing? Go to menu. Want to adjust AEB sensitivity? Sorry, not as flexible as Hyundai or Kia. And here's the cherry on top. Preconditioning the battery, a must if you want fast DC charging, needs to be activated manually. No smart scheduling, no GPS-based prep like on Tesla or Ioniq 5. Forget it, and you'll be waiting like it's USB 2.0 all over again. Now, the good part. The sensors and radar work reliably. No false alarms from falling leaves like some Chinese EVs. This is still Toyota. We fix before we launch. So the features that do exist, they work. But if you've driven a 2024 German car, this one might feel a bit too chill. Voice control? acceptable. It'll handle basic English, but don't expect it to set the climate unless you pronounce it like a BBC announcer. Air conditioning on at 24 degrees. Still gets it wrong? You might end up opening the rear window. So is there anything groundbreaking? Yes, if your last car didn't have cruise control. No, if you're coming from a modern Hyundai or Kia. Urban Cruiser EV is what we at CarCry call a reliable buddy. It'll help you move furniture, but it won't help you break into your ex's apartment. Capable, kind, but not the adventurous type. Now here comes the question 99% of you probably want to ask. How much does this thing cost? Is it coming to my market? And if not, should I even be upset? Toyota officially launched the Urban Cruiser EV in Thailand, a crucial launchpad for the region, with a starting price around 1.2 million baht, which roughly converts to $33,000 to $35,000 USD, depending on exchange rates. The top variant? It may go over $40,000, depending on trim and drivetrain. Now, you might ask, wait a sec, doesn't that put it in direct combat with the Kia EV5, MG4, BYD Atto 3, or even Nissan Leaf? Spot on, but here's the twist. Urban Cruiser EV positions itself between two extremes. Not too cheap to feel generic made in China, not too expensive to clash with the European elite. It's like a fusion dish, spiced with Asian practicality, plated with Western confidence, appealing to your wallet and your peace of mind. Toyota is aiming this EV at first-time switchers, people moving from gas to electric, but still clinging to a trustworthy brand that won't leave them stranded. And let's be honest, in Southeast Asia, India, and parts of Africa, Toyota is still the name people trust, even if their tech shows up a year or two late. Now for the hot question. Will it launch globally? At the time CarCry made this video, Toyota hasn't confirmed global rollout dates. But considering production is based in Thailand, and with strong demand in countries like Indonesia, India, and even South Africa, there's a solid chance. If the EV wave rolls right, your market could be next. But don't preload your credit card just yet. We're likely looking at late 2025 to early 2026 for broader exports. Why the delay? Government EV policies are still shifting. Consumer mindset in many countries is still half hyped, half hesitant about EVs. Now, if it doesn't come to your country, you've got options. Lots of them. Kia's EV5 is sorted, MG4 is a bargain, Atto 3, people still confuse it for a badgeless Tesla. But if you're a diehard Toyota fan, someone who's held keys to a Fortuner, Corolla, or even a Hilux from 2010, then this Urban Cruiser EV is worth waiting for, even if it takes a year or two. To sum up, Urban Cruiser EV equals a safe, no-drama electric SUV. Pricing is fair, not cheap thrills, but reliable Japanese value. Global launch? Likely. Just don't set a calendar alert yet. And of course, your favorite final line. If this video was worth your Wi-Fi bill, hit that sub button so you won't miss the next ride that's half laughs, half lithium. And remember, CarCry is here every week, fully charged with words and just a bit of mischief.